What's up? Thanks for listening to Connect Like Minds. I'm your host, Sharryse. I interview people making a difference in their communities within their creative spaces. Today's special guest is an entrepreneur and Marine Corps veteran. Welcome to the Connect Like Minds podcast, Kimberly Burkett.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, so let's just jump into the interview. Let's start from the beginning. Tell everyone where you're from.
Originally from Queens, New York.
Wow. So I did not know that you were from New York. We met back in the Marine Corps, and I honestly thought you were from Texas. So how'd you get from Texas? Well, from New York all the way to Texas.
Long story.
Long story short, then.
Long story short, I met someone while I was in the Marines, and when I got out of the Marines, I actually moved here to Georgia.
Okay.
Where my parents currently live. They moved here while I was still in the Marines. So when I got out, I came here and then moved to Houston for a relationship.
Okay.
And that didn't work out. But I decided to stay in Houston and just make a life.
Okay.
So I was there for like 11 years before I moved back here to Georgia.
Wow. So you got a lot of history in Houston.
Yeah, Houston's like my second home because even though I'm from New York, majority of my adult life I spent in Houston. So I feel like I kind of grew up in Houston as well as an adult.
Yeah.
Like learning to fend for myself and build a life for myself.
Yeah.
So Houston has a special place in my heart.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Houston has good food too.
Great food. I gained a lot of weight when I lived there. I lost it now, but I was definitely enjoying it.
Now, like I said, I met you back in the Marines. Do you have any family members who are veterans that kind of influenced you to want to join the Marines?
No. So my brother is in the Navy. He's only 2 years older than me. He was the first person that I knew that was in the military. No, I'm lying. My cousin was in the Army. And then my brother went to the Navy. They didn't really influence me to go into the military. Although I have family in the military, they didn't influence me to do it. But I do have military affiliation prior to going in.
Okay. Yeah. What did people say when you were like, hey, I'm about to join the Marines?
My parents were glad for it because to them it's like free college. We don't have to pay. Yeah. My brother, he wanted me to go to like the Air Force or something he claimed to be easy. But that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, we'll talk more about the Marines later. What interest did you have growing up? Were you into sports? Were you into theater? Like, what was
theater.
Your likes?
Theater. I loved theater. I love the performing arts. I was that person that would enjoy going to Broadway shows. I love watching like musical performances, award shows, things of that sort. Everyone thought it was weird growing up, but that was my interest.
Wow.
To this day, it's still the same.
Did you get a chance to do some theater in high school or middle school or anything?
Of course, I did like the school plays and things of that sort, but I really got into like theater when I went to college.
Okay.
I went to college for a year before the Marines, and I was a theater major.
Wow, that's awesome. Did you get to at least do one or two shows before you left to go to the Marines?
Yes.
That's awesome. What were the name of them?
We did For Colored Girls. You know the movie Tyler Perry? We did the play. We also did like Seussical the musical, Fiddler on the Roof. That's all I can remember.
Wow. Yeah. That's great. Did you have like a leading role in any of them or supporting role?
The others, like the musicals, I was ensemble, and then For Colored Girls. So it was like the ladies in certain colors. There's like lady in orange, lady in red. I was lady in brown.
Okay.
So if I had to say a character in the actual movie, I would say like maybe Felicia Rashad's character.
Wow.
Kind of like the narrator or the person like watching everything that happened. That was kind of my role.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Now, what was your dream job growing up? Because it doesn't seem like it was trying to go to the military at all.
My dream job was to be an actress.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all about the arts, acting, theater. That has been my love since I was young. And life just took a different turn due to like, life. Finances.
Yeah.
So I gotta find something to do. So.
There's so many detours sometimes, but doesn't mean that you're not going on the right path. You just have to go on another path.
Straight back.
Yeah. Being that you have your own makeup line, would you call yourself like a girly girl when you were younger?
Not necessarily. I have I like to call it a femme-masc fusion
Okay.
that I have going on. I'm not all feminine, but I'm not all masculine. Growing up, I was very tomboyish, but I come from a Caribbean background. So
Hmm.
it was like, you can't wear pants, you have to wear dresses.
Hmm.
So I was kind of forced into being more feminine.
Hmm.
And now that I am an adult and I can do whatever I want, I embrace both sides of me.
I love that. So
Mhm.
there's a balance. That's what it
Yeah,
seems like.
yeah.
What was your relationship with makeup growing up? Even though, you were forced to be feminine, did you
hmm
still want to, indulge in makeup?
Um, Not so much, not because I didn't want to. I think it was more of a fear.
Hmm.
Again, growing up in a very strict household, Caribbean, Baptist, it was as if wearing makeup at a young age, even though like high school or anything like that, it was considered, I don't want to say wrong, but it's as if like you're not allowed to do that yet. Like you're not of age to wear makeup. There was such negativity put on it where I didn't even want to, because I didn't want to get like the negative backlash for being like
Yeah.
feminine or girly, or they would say like maybe promiscuous,
Yeah.
even though I'm not. Just like wearing makeup, they'd be like, "Oh, you're too grown," or whatever the case may be. So there was a lot of negativity put on that, so I
Mhm.
just didn't even bother messing with it.
I don't know if you've experienced this, and maybe you have, but I come from a very strict household, and they were very strong in Pentecostal slash Christianity, and
hmm
so it was taught to me that like you shouldn't wear makeup because you'll have a Jezebel spirit, so to speak.
Right.
So I don't
hmm
know if you experienced that,
Yeah.
but that's
hmm
probably why I didn't wear makeup growing up either because of
hmm
that.
Yeah.
So after you graduated high school, what led you to go into the Marine Corps? Like, I know that you said you went to college for a year. What was
hmm
that transition like? And then how'd you, end up in the Marines?
So I went to college for a year. The reason I left is because I could no longer afford it. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get financial aid, and I couldn't get any more loans. So I started working at Toys R Us in New York. And that money, of course, wasn't going to pay for college. So I was like, I got to do something. I can't just do this. So I literally walked out of work that day and went into the recruiting office. And just so happened the Marine Corps recruiter was the only one there. They got
Wow.
me.
Were you gonna
That's
just
how
like choose any branch?
I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I was going to talk to a few of them and kind of just feel them out and see which way I wanted to go.
Hmm.
But he got me. I mean, I'm very grateful that that's the branch that I chose. But that's just how it happened. He just happened to be the only one there that day.
Wow. What sold
hmm
you on what he was saying? Like, what was something that you remember from that experience?
To be honest, he said if you want to be the best of the best, the Marines is where you want to go. And I'm all about being the best. So I was like, sign me up.
That's fire. What was your job in the Marines? Did you want to be an I know that you were, well, I'm gonna let you say what you were, but because
hmm
that's where we met, but did
Yeah.
you want to do anything else?
So, we were food service, 3381. I went to boot camp open contract and was given that job.
Wow.
When I took my ASVAB, they give you a list of like what you can choose from based on your score. And I
Hmm.
chose radio operator. And they were like,
Oh.
I forgot exactly what he said, but something along the lines like, they don't need radio operators right now. So you'd
Hmm.
have to wait like a few months or whatever before going to boot camp.
Hmm.
Or you can go in the next couple of weeks and go open contract and be given a job. So I was like, I'll just go. I was ready to, start life. So I
Yeah.
was like, I'll just go. So that's how food service came
Wow.
about.
Now, for those who don't know, Marine Corps boot camp is very taxing, especially on the body, and it's three
hmm
months long, but I feel
Yep.
like it's definitely rewarding. Did your recruiter give you a heads up about the Marine Corps in general, or like anything that you should look out for or know about before entering into boot camp?
Not that I can remember.
Okay. Were you
I'm pretty
aware of
sure
like
he
the phone
did.
call that was going to happen before you went?
I think so.
Oh, okay. That's
I think
good.
so.
That's good. My aunt, well, she's in the Marines, so
hmm
that's how I knew about that phone call.
hmm
Because other than that, I would have been looking crazy. Like, I can't talk to
Yeah.
my family before I, do this.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now, I asked this question to a lot of women in the Marines. Were there women around you in the Marine Corps who were like trying to help guide you and guide your career, even if you weren't going to stay in?
No, ma'am. There were not, unfortunately. I was stuck around a bunch of men.
Mm.
Yeah.
And how was that experience for you?
It was frustrating because there were times where I was the only female in my shop, and there was times where there was only like 2 or 3 of us. And then when it comes to being like black and more curvy, I was, I guess, sexually harassed constantly. Guys making really rude comments about, sexual comments about my body and things that we want to do. Da, da, da.
Mm-hmm.
So I dealt with a lot of that, and that was very frustrating for me. I did not like that. So being surrounded by men was just like, over this.
What were some things that, if you don't mind, like how did you navigate that whole experience or that whole journey dealing with being around the men and them saying inappropriate things to you?
In the moment when I'm dealing with it, I just try to like brush it off. But one thing I always did is outside of the duty hours that we had to be there, I did not hang out with them. Whenever we were off, we were off. And they would always ask me like, "Oh, you don't hang out with us on the weekends?" And I'm like, "I don't want to. I'm with you guys 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. Like the 2 days we get off, I need to myself." So yeah, I would
But
stay away. Mm-hmm.
knowing what you've been through and understanding how the military is, especially with women, I guess what would be your advice to someone who wants to join now?
Well, I mean, now it's very different than when we were in. So a
Very
lot of
true.
regulations and things are very different. So I really don't even know what they have going on now. But the best advice I could give is to stay focused on your why, your reason why you're joining, and just stick with that because there's going to be a lot of distractions, a lot of other things going on. As long as you remember your why, I think that can get you through.
Well, I definitely am sorry that you had to endure those things because I did too. And
Mm-hmm.
I honestly wish there were a lot more women around willing to stick up for the junior Marines.
Mm-hmm.
Even the NCOs, like I wish there were staff NCOs who, wanted to take us under their wings and be
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, guys, this is not okay. But hopefully they're making efforts now to fix those
Yeah,
things.
it seems like things may be a lot better now than it
Mm-hmm.
was when we were in. Just from like me seeing things on social media and women actually speaking up and talking about things, it looks like, it's a lot. But I'm pretty sure it's a long way to go, but it's
Yeah.
definitely getting there.
That's good. That's good. I have not been keeping up with I should have, but I have not been keeping up with everything like I should.
I'm on TikTok heavy, so I see the stuff come up on my For You page. So
Look, I
that's
just
how
got
I
into
stay in the loop.
I just got into TikTok literally maybe like a month ago.
Oh my gosh, where have you been? We've been there for 5 years.
Listen, so without going on a tangent, the reason why I haven't been active really is because of my like as a journalist, I like try
Mhm.
not to like stay heavy on
Okay.
social media.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
And so I just
Makes
blame a
sense.
lot of it on my job.
I get it.
Did you deploy while you were in the Marines? And if so, where did you deploy to?
Yes, I deployed in 2011 to Afghanistan. We were in Helmand Province at Camp Lebanon. Did you go? I thought you went too.
I didn't go to that one. I deployed though. I went
Oh,
to Kuwait and Bahrain,
okay.
but I did not
I thought
go
you
on
were going
that one.
mine for some reason.
Maybe I got tapped on and then they was like, "No, you're not going." I don't know. I don't know what happened. I
Mhm.
so they asked like for us to volunteer, and I kept
Mhm.
volunteering every time, and I just wasn't getting chosen. But I got
Mhm.
chosen like I want to say like before that or after that. Well, I don't know. It was around that time though.
Okay.
Yeah. How was your experience deploying?
Um, it was an experience. It was long, long days. It was hot.
Hmm. Okay, we don't have to go into like we
I'm just
don't
like,
we don't.
I don't know what else. Yeah.
I mean, what is the worst thing you remember from your deployment that you feel comfortable speaking about?
Um, mm, it wasn't a horrible deployment. That's what I'm trying to think. Like,
It's
there
good.
wasn't really like any worse things that happened. I would say one of the things that was really emotional was, Lord forgive me, I can't remember his name, but one of our staff sergeants had passed away back in the States. And we found out while we were, yeah, we found out while we were deployed, and it was like, all right, so and so passed away, that sucks and all, but and just like moved on. It's like, wait a minute, can we like
Grief?
grieve a second, or like, so that sucked about the military in general. It's like we didn't get a chance to like have emotions and like feel anything. It was like, well, this happened, that sucks, moving on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that's definitely something memorable and
Hmm.
very sad. But on a, I guess, lighter note, what's the craziest thing that has happened to you in the Marine Corps or someone else that just sticks
Mm,
out or that you remember?
to be honest, I don't have anything. It's like it was so long ago that sometimes some of the things that may have happened, I just don't remember.
Okay.
I got out in like what, 2012?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's a
it's
while
been
ago.
some
That is a
time.
while ago.
Yeah. And I forget a lot of things because a lot of life has happened since then.
Yeah.
And then I became a cop. So then I have a lot of cop things in my memory. So like military things are pushed like way to the back. Unless it was like severely significant,
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember,
Mm.
unfortunately. I forgot a lot of the people that I worked with as well. So it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot to carry in my brain. So some things have left.
Understandable.
I don't remember. Yeah.
I did not know you became a cop. That's pretty
It's
cool.
funny that I've been reconnecting with people lately and they're like, I had no idea. Yeah, I was a cop for like 7 years in
Oh
Houston.
my God.
Hmm.
Wow. So what made you decide you wanted to be a cop after dealing with the Marine Corps?
It just felt like the most natural progression. It's like serving your country, serving your community. So I kind of just like transitioned into that, as well as, I feel like military always helps you get a job like that.
Yeah.
So it just felt like the most natural thing to do. And being a cop was never my dream, but my, I guess, motivation to be a police officer was to help women and children get out of domestic violence situations.
Mhm.
So that was like my why for that job. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to really do too much of that.
Mm.
That Girl, I'll come back another time and talk about that. It's too much. But
Okay.
I end up resigning after about 7 years. So I got out
Okay.
of it. So,
All right. Well, why did you choose to get out of the Marines?
I got out because when it came time to reenlist, I wanted to do a B billet and I wanted to be a drill instructor.
Mm-hmm.
And they said they didn't need any drill instructors; they needed recruiters. And I was like, I don't want to do that. So I said, so I said, well, if I can't do that, then can I go to California?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, like, we need people in Okie. And I was like, all right, if I can't do what I want to do on my next 4 years, I'm going to go ahead and get out.
Yeah.
Because you know how they tell you the first 4 years, they put you where they need you.
Right.
Then when you reenlist, you can like go where you want to go.
Right.
So that's not happening, then I'm going to go ahead and get out. So that's it.
Wow. I respect that. That's what's up. I got out and still went to another military branch.
I remember that. I saw that.
But
So
that's
look at
another
Piggott
story for another
switching
time.
over.
Did you have a plan before you got out of the Marines? Like, were you thinking in your mind, like, "Hey, I'm going to go be a cop after this," since they weren't giving you what you
Mm.
wanted?
So the cop thing came later. My initial plan when I first got out was going back to school
Mm-hmm.
and getting my degree. Um, I didn't know what I wanted to do yet,
Mm-hmm.
but I went back to school, but I wanted to get into like the fitness world. 'Cause along with like theater, I do love fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to become like a nutritionist or like a personal trainer. So
Cool.
that's what I was working on when I first got out. And then when I moved to Houston, that's when the whole cop thing came about.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
So while you were in college, did you get a chance to explore theater again or explore, dealing with, well, clearly I see on your social media that you work out. So I'm
Hmm.
going to assume you were already doing that, like
Yeah.
while you were in the Marines too. So,
Yeah. So when I got out of the Marines and went to college, no, I didn't do any theater. I was really just doing like all my core classes so
Mhm.
that whenever I decided to, go to another school, whatever, at least I had all my core classes out of the way. So
Okay.
I was just working on that when I first. went back to school.
Okay. Now, I guess after becoming a cop, did you decide to become an entrepreneur, or was that something that happened while you were in the process of being a cop?
So while I was a cop is when I started my business, and I was running my business and working as a cop full time. And so I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and resign from this and go full time with business. So yeah.
Wow.
I was packing orders in the morning and dropping them off at the post office, and then going to work to my station, doing my job. So that's how I did it. I used to work the evening shift. So whatever shift I worked, I've worked all 3 shifts,
Hmm.
morning, evening, and nights. So whatever shift I worked, it's like the opposite of that is when I did my business. So if I worked night shift, I did my business during the day. If I worked day shift, I did it after, So
Man, sounds
mhm.
like tireless days. Like, oh my
Very
God.
much so.
Oh, how did you come up with the name of your makeup line?
It literally just like came to me. I was trying to think of words that made sense with my mission.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, combat beauty, that type of stuff.
Hmm.
And badass beauty just came out of nowhere. And I was like, that's it.
I think that's such a
That's
cool
it.
name. Badass
Thank you. I
Beauty.
appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Can you tell our listeners what type of makeup and skincare products that you sell?
So I have a lot of the basic makeup products, like mascara, eyeshadows, blushes, highlighters. I do have some body oils that I do make myself. All of my makeup products are military themed, and they are named after military words or something affiliated with the military.
And for those who may not know any military words, can you give us like maybe one example?
So my mascara is called At Ease mascara, and that's like
Lit.
a position that we stand at in formation. What else do I have? And of course, like the MRE palettes. A lot of people don't know what MREs are. The MREs are the meal ready to eat that we eat out in the field. And my palettes are named after that. It's called Makeup Ready to Enhance. And all the colors are named after something that you would find in an MRE.
I thought that was so clever to come up with, man. That's like
Thank
so
you.
cool. Now for those who may not know or may be wondering, are you solely an entrepreneur or do you juggle other jobs?
Right now, I'm solely an entrepreneur. Like I said before, I am getting back into the theater. Right now, it's kind of like a side hobby, but my career and how I support myself is solely through entrepreneurship.
What's been the biggest challenge for you so far as an entrepreneur?
Um, just some months are great with sales and other months are not great. So just that up and down with business has been the biggest struggle. It's not consistent like a regular 9 to 5.
What have you been doing to help, I guess, deal with that? Especially for someone who's listening who may want to also start,
Hmm.
selling products as well.
Mm, to be honest, I'm fortunate that I do still get a check from the military, my disability check. So on months where sales of my business may be low,
Hmm.
like I still am able to support myself. So I'm fortunate in that aspect. But when it comes to just making sure that I'm not like in the hole or anything of that sort, I'm very careful with my spending.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, make sure you pay your bills first, pay what you need versus over what you want. So once you
Totally
come up,
agree with you there.
yeah. Mhm.
Do you do any like like tabling events where you go to events to promote your products?
Or like vendor events.
Hmm.
I haven't recently. I used to in Houston whenever they had like festivals or anything like that, I would.
Hmm.
But me just getting here to Georgia, I haven't done any of those yet.
Okay.
But I have before, yeah.
Cool, cool. Can you please share where they can or our listeners can go so they can check out your products and buy some?
Yeah, for sure. So Instagram is badass underscore beauties underscore. My website is badassbeautiesco.com. TikTok is Badass Beauties LLC. And Facebook is Badass Beauties. It's one word. It's all together.
Cool. This next segment is called Shout 'em Out. Do you have a
Mhm.
nonprofit that you'd like to shout out that you believe is making a difference in their community?
I do. I'm gonna pull up. I hope this doesn't mess up what we got going on.
No, it
You
doesn't.
still see
Go
me? Okay.
ahead.
So the nonprofit I'd like to shout out is called Pinups for Vets. I'm gonna read their mission statement.
Okay.
Their mission statement is Pinups for Vets raises funds to improve veterans' health care, donates funds to VA hospitals for medical equipment and program expansion, improves quality of life for ill veterans across the United States through personal bedside visits to deliver gifts, promotes volunteerism at veteran hospitals, supports homeless veterans with clothing and gifts delivered to shelters, boosts morale for military wives and female veterans with makeovers, and boosts morale for deployed troops through delivery of care packages. Now, they also do a calendar every year where they showcase 12, I know it's 12 months, but sometimes they have like 14, 15 veterans. They have like two per month
Hmm.
for their calendar. And I am in this year's calendar. I did the photo shoot last year. So I am Miss March in this year's Pinups for Vets calendar.
Congratulations.
Thank
Now I gotta go
you.
buy one.
Yeah, if they're not sold out. Mhm.
Oh, well, I hope.
They did pre-orders last year,
Oh, okay.
and I'm pretty sure they still have some, but I know that they do go quickly.
Okay. Now, how did you come across this nonprofit?
I actually saw them on Facebook. It just happened to come up on my feed of somehow. I don't remember how, but that's
Hmm.
how I saw them. And I started following them because I did like their mission. And then I saw that they had a casting call for their calendar. This was back in, I want to say 2023.
Hmm.
And I gave in my casting call with my photos and about myself. And I didn't get selected. But then last year, the founder reached out to me that she wanted me to be in it for this year. So I was very honored.
That's what's
And so that happened.
up. Well, that's great. I need to check them out myself just because
Hmm.
after you read that mission statement, I'm like, maybe I can like volunteer with them.
Hmm.
Are they like nationwide or are there chapters in certain places? Where are they at?
She, she, I believe, is based in California, but they do travel.
Okay.
So they've gone to like Texas, they've gone to Georgia, they've gone to several states because a lot of the veterans that are in these calendars obviously are from different states.
Hmm.
And whenever they do go to these states to visit the VA hospitals in that state, the veteran that was in the calendar that lives in that state can go with them too to like visit veterans at the hospitals and things of that sort.
Okay.
So mhm.
Cool. Now, where can people go online to find more
About
about
me or
this
Pinups for Vets?
nonprofit?
Oh, I believe their Instagram is also just Pinups for Vets as well as their Facebook. And their website is pinupsforvets.mybigcommerce.com.
All right.
But you can also just Google Pinups for Vets and it'll come up.
Okay, cool. Now, this final segment is called Rants with Sharryse. This is like my favorite segment. And you
You
basically
get
get
messy.
to say that again?
So you get messy.
Yeah, basically. Some people choose to, be nice about it, but this literally comes from me complaining while I was in the Marine Corps. Like I used to
Hmm.
complain a lot.
Hmm.
And so I just decided to incorporate it in my podcast. But the
Okay.
interviewer is the one that's complaining. And you can complain
Hmm.
about your pet peeves, you can complain about people choosing not to bathe. I mean,
Hmm.
whatever you want, but you have to give us a solution. So the floor is yours.
Hmm. So I would say one of my biggest pet peeves is people who do a lot of talking, but not a lot of action. I can't stand someone who, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and you do nothing. So my solution is stop talking and start doing. I want to see it. I don't want to hear
Facts.
it. I can't stand somebody who talks. It's like, all you got is talk. At some point, it's like, I don't want to hear it no more because I already know you're just talking. You're never going to do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely you got to put some action behind those words. That
Hmm.
comes in friendships, relationships,
Hmm.
any
And I've
any
dealt
ship
with
you're
it
in.
across the board. Yes. Friendships, relationships, family. It's like, I'm just tired of hearing people talk. Because I'm a doer. Like, if
Yeah.
I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And 9 times out of 10, I just do it. I don't feel the need to even tell you. Like, I'm just going to do it. So being a doer and just being around people who say a lot and don't do,
Mhm.
it's quite frustrating.
I agree. I hate being on social media and someone is like, "I'm about to delete all my friends." Like, why do you need to announce that?
Just go. Bye.
Well, before you go, can you please share your social media outlets with our listeners who want to follow you?
My personal Instagram is just Kimberly Antoinette, and that's just where I post like my life, my workouts, just me embarking on a new journey in life. 'Cause I did go through a lot within the past 2 years. I was married, I did get divorced. So I'm starting over.
Mhm.
So and I'm actually enjoying it. I'm very peaceful. So I do share that on my personal social media, and then my business social media on Instagram is badass underscore beauties underscore.
Well, when you come back, or as a reoccurring guest, I
Hmm.
guess we could talk about marriage and
Yeah, we
all of
can we
that
can
good
dive into
stuff.
that. Got a lot to say.
That's cool, and I
Definitely.
know you're gonna keep it classy and peaceful, and
Hmm.
it's gonna be a good time. So I'm excited about
For
that.
sure. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on Connect Like Minds podcast. I can't wait to have you back again so we can learn some more stuff about you.
Thank you so much for having me.
And
This
thank
was fun.
you for listening to Connect Like Minds.